Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 204 of Verbal Graffiti with your host, Brian Glass, aka the B-Man, the People's Degenerate. I just slapped on some cologne on the hoodie that I'm wearing right now. Reason being because my hoodie stank. It had some BO to it, and I don't want to wash it. So I'm trying to overwhelm the stink of the B-Man with some cologne that I think I got from Walgreens. No, not Walgreens. CVS. I don't know. It's a very college-esque thing to do. It's like, well, I'm going to go home in 2 weeks, so I don't want to do my laundry, but I wear this hoodie every day. So I'll just put some cologne, some Axe on it. The B-Man, why don't I just put on 2 American Eagle shirts and pop both the collars on both of them? Maybe I'll do that next episode. Pop the collar. Enough with the early 2000s fashion, reminiscing on those days. Tip of my penis to early 2000 fashion. All right, enough with that. Ice, we got to talk about it. And when I say we got to talk about it, I got to talk about it, the B-Man, because I'm the only one here. No dogs co-hosting this episode. We don't really talk too much about current events unless it has to do with smut and or something doing with my penis, Mr. Perfect, and the action or inaction that he's taken part of, inaction of late, certainly since episode 200. But I saw the video. I saw the footage of Minneapolis with the ICE agents shooting, pop, what was she? The lady, 37-year-old mom, lesbian, activist. I'm not really sure what her title is. She's dead. She's donezo. She got unalived. And when I watched the video, I was like, wow. It really did. It was really reminiscent of Cyberpunk 2077, a game I've mentioned quite a lot because it's a video game that I am playing on my MacBook. It's kind of a Grand Theft Auto type game where you're in this imaginary city and you're shooting civilians, cops. You're running around with gangsters, doing all these missions. And I'm seeing these ICE officers, and it's very reminiscent of Cyberpunk. And although that seems like, if you gotta admit, to be an ICE agent in 2026 seems like a fun gig. You just pop whoever you want. Pop. Pull anyone out of any building. You're getting to play real life Grand Theft Auto, which if you're a boy, an all-American American, there is a point in your life where that you wish life were like that. It's a good thing though, that real life is not Grand Theft Auto. And I think that's part of the problem with ICE is that the gentlemen and the ladies that are signing up to become ICE agents, there's a mentality that they have. They're gung-ho. They don't want to be behind the desk. They want to be on the streets, pounding the pavement, pointing their guns at people, suspected of being illegal immigrants. Now, the B-Man, you should know my stance. I'm more conservative than most comedians. I do believe that we need to rid the country of illegal immigrants, or at least do something to deport them. But I don't want any of them shot. What I'm saying, I fuck with the ICE agents in that I kind of agree with the mission of getting illegal immigrants and deporting them or sending them back to wherever country they're not illegal from. But I also believe in the rule of law. As we all know, the B-Man, I drive the speed limit, 55, 65, whatever it may be. But I believe in the rule of law. So just pointing your gun and pulling people from their cars and pushing down protesters, I can't fuck with that. We can't fuck with that here at Verbal Graffiti. If you want to go to Home Depot or some house that you think is housing illegal immigrants, do so. But I believe you should have to get a warrant from a judge to go into whatever restaurant or housing complex or apartment complex. You can't just go up to anybody on the street, any school, wherever, any building, and start asking for IDs. It's like, well, where's a warrant? There's a rule of law in this country. We have amendments, which we'll get to in a future segment here. But that's just my stance. Although it's now, was a guy in the wrong or the right? Well, hey, I'm sure there's going to be a case. I am not a judge. I'm not qualified. I am not a lawyer. Although if you need a divorce attorney, I will pretend to be an attorney for you. But yeah, you'll go to court, and the judge and jury will decide. The B man, I point fingers. I don't give out sentences, prison sentences. But that's my stance. Also, this is a generalization here. Generally speaking, from my point of view, whoever is covering their face with a mask is usually the party that's in the wrong. That's another thing about the ICE agents that I can't diddle with. I can't dance with ICE agents covering their face. You're a federal agent, right? The federal government's paying you. So why are you allowed to cover your face? That's one thing you got to appreciate about the police is that we all know the uniform they wear. They have a badge. They have to give you their rights, hopefully. When they come up to you, you know who they are. But when an ICE agent, it just seems like they're wearing bulletproof vests and covering their face and wearing a helmet. The ICE agent should have to have... There should be a uniform that they're all wearing, and they also have to show their badge when they're coming up to you and potentially dragging you to some prison cell somewhere. So that's my thing. Get a warrant, and all the agents should have to wear a certain uniform. And if you're going to shoot your weapon, pow, pow, pow. Last option. I'm not opposed to shooting citizens. I'm not opposed to it. Like, honestly, I bet you, I don't know, but I bet you that lady that got shot and hit the telephone pole in his dunzo, unalived, no longer living, I bet you there are some coworkers of hers who are just kind of glad that she's not coming into work the following day and will never be coming back to work. Because we do know here the rule of 11. Every 11th person is annoying, causes strife. That's why I believe every class, and we've talked about this before, so a class of 25 students, 1 out of 11 is going to be a troublemaker. It's going to cause the teacher a headache. So a class of 25, there's probably going to be 2 or 3 students that are like that. Those 3 students should be expelled. I hear that in a proper society, if the 1 out of 11 person should be executed, it should be executed, right? But again, you can't actually do that in a gummy drop society. To make society a better place, we should be allowed to kill, or not kill, but capital pun. So the death penalty should be given to those 1 out of 11 people, and I'm almost positive that lady who hit the telephone pole after getting shot in the head, is probably one of those people, 1 out of 11. But again, that's in a dream world. In real world, we can't go killing the 11th person who's causing a nuisance for everybody else. But society would be better if that were allowed, although it's not allowed. And another thing, hell of a shot. We've seen some military men, right? So some army, some Secret Service who they can't shoot the guy. Remember the 2 guys who tried shooting Trump? They missed them. This guy was a Charlie Kirk guy. Like boom, boom, 1 shot, and that lays down. But enough of that. But I'm saying, ICE, get your warrant, get your papers. Like, I want to support what you're doing. But the way in which you're going about, you're just being bullies. And we can't support your tactics here at Verbal Graffiti. We don't. And also, don't deport the pretty ones. There are so many uglies in America. Even if you find an illegal male or female who's attractive, look the other way. Let the pretties stay. We need more pretty people on the streets of America. So, let those stay. But the illegal ones, they got to go. But again, go through the proper, I don't even know what it's called, proper stages, proper paperwork in order. You got to follow the laws. You can't just make up the laws as you go along like we do here at Verbal Graffiti. But again, what a wild sight. I mentioned a few months ago, like, are we in a civil war? It's civil conflict, for sure. For sure. Oh, Venezuela? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what's going on because I've been making movies, Verbal Graffiti, stand-up. That's when you know you're doing life well, is when the outside noise, you don't really know. You hear it, but you don't really know what's going on because you're so focused on your objectives. You want to call that being a narcissist? Well, maybe the B-man's a narcissist. Okay, ICE. We kind of support the mission. We don't support the tactics or the aggressiveness of the agents. We got that. All right, moving along. This next one comes from and also, if you disagree with me, you're probably correct. I don't really know if my beliefs are the correct or the right side of history or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But that's the great thing about America. You can have your opinions. I have mine. Let's get strawberry ice cream and fuck. All right, moving along. All right, this comes from only if you're a hottie. All right, next one, and female. All right, moving along. This one comes from the subreddit piercings. Where to buy jewelry without breaking the bank. And if you're listening and not watching via YouTube, it's just a photo of a lady with about 20 piercings, ear piercings. All right. Is there anywhere to sell jewelry like this? Which one are you speaking of, lady? Except in titanium. I love this style of jewelry, but I can't spend $400 per piece, and I'm not looking for gold anyway. Of course, they don't have the exact, I just love the style. Does anyone know of any shops that sell pieces like this? I don't, because I don't own any jewelry. But I just want to comment on babes and guys, people who have piercings, who use their ears not to hear, but as wind chimes. You get, 15, 20 piercings. I have a theory that anybody with more than 3 piercings in an ear are probably living in poverty. I just gander. That's a guess of mine because I don't know, but I'm projecting here that most babes who are successful, they get their ears pierced. They go to a mall or wherever the fuck you go now. You get your piercing when you're 5. And you never look back. You get a couple nice studs, and then you move. You go to first grade, second, fourth, and away you go to success, money, a family, a business, a hobby, friendships, vacations, Cancun, Mexico. You go to Colorado skiing in the winter. All I'm saying is, if you're spending, actually, what I'm saying is successful women, babes, don't have time to keep puncturing their earlobes and cartilage in their ears with pins. They get 1 or 2 piercing per side, and away they go. They get a little gold hoop or a little pearl earring, a little stud. Maybe they go to a handmade craft store and they get something a little funky. When they're in their 20s, a little identity crisis. Maybe I'll become a pearls and a spiritual lady and get something dangling from my ear. But for the most part, 1 or 2 earrings per earlobe, and away to success you go. The people who continually puncture their ears and put new earrings, all I'm saying, if you're putting that much thought into your ears, you're not putting enough thought on how to make money, how to succeed in this economy. I actually Yeah, I can only speak for my history, but I'm almost certain that, especially, there's one specific piercing. Is it the barbell? Again, apologies if I don't know if the correct terminology. I've never had any piercings in my ears. But what is that barbell? That miniature like pull-up bar that you get from here to here with like the two studs, but the metal piece in between. I think it's called a barbell. I just know that when I was in middle school, so maybe sixth, seventh grade, like the first girl in your school to get the barbell piercing, that's synonymous with the first girl who gave a blowjob. They're one and the same. The first girl to get the barbell piercing is also the first girl that gives some guy sloppy top, behind a bus stop. And also with the guy, the first guy in middle school and the first boy to get that barbell piercing on his left or right ear, he's the first one to smoke weed. And those two students, the first girl, first boy to get the barbell piercing, nothing became of their life. As did anyone who gets that barbell piercing in high school. I guarantee you, none of them who had that barbell piercing did anything of significance with their life. Now, nor have I. So, point at me too. Maybe I should get the barbell piercing because I'm not doing anything successful with my life. But that's almost a BG guarantee right there. You got the barbell piercing in high school or middle school, you never amounted to anything in life. And that's just piercings, man. That's just piercings. And I'm very critical of the ear piercings. Yeah, I don't honestly. This will never happen. Speaking of Congress and ICE and rules and amendments, there should be a new amendment. This will never happen, but it should be an amendment. If I was in Congress, is no human, no American citizen is permitted to get more than 3 piercings per ear. Anything more than that, guillotine, hard labor camp. Or maybe we put a cinder block on your feet and throw you in the Atlantic Ocean. In international waters, therefore, Americans cannot be charged for that murder of you. But again, that should be the rule or the amendment. It is not. And because of that, we have ladies like her. And because I've had coworkers like this. This lady, she's not doing anything successful with life because she's spending all her money on piercings, earrings, whatever you call all this stuff on her ear. She works a dead-end job. She works the front. She's a receptionist, which used to be a secretary. She's working a front desk. She's working in a back office somewhere. She's working retail. Whatever she's doing, it's a dead-end job, and all her coworkers despise her because she's basically turned her ear into a wind chime. So anytime she gets up and walks around the floor or the office or wherever work environment she works in, it's a bunch of clinking, clink, 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 and it's driving her coworkers Looney Tunes. It's driving them cuckoo, and if they could, they'd be like that ICE officer. They'd pop her and end her life. They don't because they don't want to get arrested and spend life in prison, but because I know if I was her coworker and she was walking around with those wind chimes on her ears, all I would think about for that 9-hour shift, because we don't work 8-hour shifts anymore. We work 9 hours. You don't work 9 to 5. You work 8:30 to 5:30, 8 to 5, whatever it is, 9 hours. 9 hours you're stuck with this wind chime lady, clink, clink, clink. All I'd be thinking about is strangling her, causing her pain. Making her strangling her to her last breath. Wouldn't do it because I'm an upstanding citizen, but I'd think about it often. And that's it. And also, $400. Is that how much earrings cost? $400? That is, I thought earrings maximum were $50. For both of them. If you're spending that much money on earrings, it should be real pearls. If I were her, I'd get rid of all those piercings. You're wasting all that money, all those trinkets are probably made in China anyway. Get rid of all those earrings. Again, I'm a buy expensive. Don't buy a lot, but what it is you buy expensive. So get rid of all those earrings and buy 2 nice gold, sterling silver, pearls, gemstone earrings. That's the way the B-man thinks the babes should live their life. 2 expensive earrings, not 25 on each side. And I don't give a fuck about your religion. If you're in Africa or some village where you put the big hoop, if you have a big hoop in your lobe where I could stick my finger through it, I don't take you seriously. I consider you subhuman. I don't care if it's part of your culture or your religion or your tradition. You look silly. Some say I look silly. I don't give a fuck. At least I have a personality. Let's go look at some photos. Episode 204, segment 2. I don't have much to say. Please like, subscribe, share an episode with somebody you know. We're up to 64 subscribers, so we've gained 4 subscribers this past week. That's big for us here at Verbal Graffiti. Thank you to the new followers. We appreciate the support. Anyways, yeah, I got nothing else to say other than if my breath stinks, if my breath smells like I just ate a bag of Lay's sour cream and onion potato chips, which they probably shouldn't, because I'm as boring as it gets with chips. I like original flavors, Ruffles, Lay's, Doritos, what have you. Give me the original. But if I have the stinky breath, let me know. Let me know. I did an open mic, or maybe it was a show. I think it was a small bar show, not much of an audience, but the host, his breath stank. P-U. I had to do one, like a double take, like I was weaving and bobbing so I wouldn't be in line with his breath. And of course I didn't tell him because I'm a coward and I avoid conflict. Another reason why I probably won't become an ICE agent. But yeah, I'm thinking about Cyberpunk. That's what that pause was. I know I'm passive aggressive. I don't like conflict, but when I play Cyberpunk, I kill innocent civilians every chance I get. Boom, 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 boom. But anyway, enough with Cyberpunk. But yeah, my breath stinks. Let me know. And I'm letting you know I'm a coward. If your breath stinks, and especially if I don't know you very well, if we're not tight, if we don't chop it up, I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to think about it, just remember it, and then I'm going to talk shit about you anonymously on this project that we call Verbal Graffiti. Keeping it moving. Up again. But I won't judge you for telling me my breath stinks, even if we don't know each other. I will thank you. Thank you for letting me know that I have hot, stinky breath. And because of your willingness to be confrontational or to say something unpleasant to me, that's actually going to make me a better person and everyone around me happier, because I'm going to go brush my teeth, floss, mouthwash. I'm going to take care of it because I don't want to have hot, stinky, sour cream and onion breath. I don't want that. It's very similar to the B-man. When I tell a babe she has too much pubic hair, like I let her know that she has too much pubic hair because I want her to be as attractive as she can be for myself, greedily, and for other Johns that will be with her in the future. Because inevitably, I'll say something to fuck up, the two of us fucking, so she will stop fucking me and start fucking somebody else. But when I tell her that she has too much pubic hair, and oftentimes she'll take care of that by trimming or waxing or hair removal, however it is you get rid of your hair, she will make her pubic area not as hairy. And other Johns she goes forward with, they won't know who I am, but I made their lives better by being confrontational with the babe with too much pubic hair, similar with the hot breath. All right, I know I said I had nothing to say. That was a lie. It wasn't a lie. It was more so that I honestly thought I had nothing to open this segment with, but clearly Somehow I made hot breath and pubic hair one topic. I'm amazing. I'm an artist. I'm a visionary. The B-Man. All right, moving forward. This next one comes from the subreddit Internet Parents. I'm too boring to date, but hot enough to fuck. The title says it all. I just don't know how to come out of my shell with new people. I'll be a vibrant soul with no filter with my loved ones, but it's like when I'm with new people, the fear of being judged is too strong and bottles up my personality. Men put up with it for as long as possible until I put out, but then they ghost me and say I'm boring or quiet. How the hell do I break out of my shell? Question mark, exclamation point. I'm dubious of your self-assessment. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying you're inaccurate. Let the B-Man explain. You see, I don't think you're hot. See, and the reason why I say this is because the B-Man, I have an ability to recognize patterns, to see trends, and call them out when I see them, when I recognize them. And what I see here, what I recognize is a trend. And the trend that you've told us, and we can only go by what you say, but I see between the lines. I see between your legs. I see what you're working with there with that sniz. You're not hot. You're fuckable. There's a difference. Okay, you have these guys, these Johns, these charitable men who come in your life. They fuck you, right? They put up with your wet blanket of a personality, right? You're so boring. We'll get to your personality, but we're talking about your looks first. Okay, these charitable men put up with your wet blanket of a personality till you put out, till you open your legs, till you give them your sniz. And afterwards, they ghost you. All of them. To a man, every charitable man that you've let fuck you, your sniz, has left you alone. Never, they haven't spoken to you, they ghost you. That's what ghosting is. We don't need to get into that. That tells me that you're not hot. You're fuckable, you're adequate, but you're not hot. And we know you're not hot because all these charitable men willing to put up with your wet blanket of a personality to get your sniz are not coming back to double dip inside of your sniz, which tells me you're not hot. Because we all know, although we want to deny it, although everybody in the culture wants to tell us it's not true, hot sniz is the most wanted, the most obscure resource on earth. It's what we all want. And if you get it, you don't ghost it. See, if you were hot, these charitable men, they'd keep putting up with your wet blanket of a personality to continue fucking you. And because you're hot. But they're not doing that, which is a telltale sign that you're not hot. You're adequate and you're fuckable, but you're not hot. So stop thinking you're hot because you're not. All right? From what we know, like you're definitely fuckable. Right? Like none of these guys has fucked you with the stipulation that you must wear a paper bag over your face. We're going to do it doggy. And you have to sign an NDA and promise not to tell anyone in my friend group that we did the deed. So we know you're not ugly, but you're definitely not hot. And that's a clear distinction that needs to be made. With that out of the way, the rest of... not so much your self-assessment, but the fear I sense as you wrote this post or you typed this post on Reddit is valid. Because you do know that Your personality it's nothing. It's not even a grating personality. It's not even an unpleasant personality. You're just boring. Right? You're ramen noodles without the seasoning packet. The girl in grade school who ate Elmer's glue had more charisma than you have right now. You bring nothing to the table personality-wise, and there's nothing you can do for your personality. You're either a wet blanket or you're not. You're a wet blanket. Now you could try. You could dress it up. You could put on eyeliner. You put on mascara. But your ho-hum, a boring, blah, banal personality, it is what it is. Your genes are your genes. And you cannot, if you're not funny, if you can't keep a conversation going, if you're just dull, if you're lukewarm water, that's what you are. You can't add crystal light to it. You're boring. You could try. You could go to improv class. You could try stand-up comedy, take some acting courses, do a drama play. It's not going to improve your personality. At the end of the day, at the end of the class, one of the guys in the class, Cheryl Man, he'll fuck you, but he's not going to stay with you because you're boring. That's who you are. You're an adequate, fuckable lady, which is more than many babes can say. So at least you're able to get fucked. Many ladies can't. But this is what do we do? Now we have the predicament you're in, right? You're not hot. You're adequate. You're fuckable with a wet blanket of personality. How do you move forward? You can't improve your personality. Your looks, your appearance, each day you get a smidgen less fuckable. Like today, 2026, January, you are fuckable. But we know how Father Time works. Each day, each month, each year, you get a little bit more cellulite. You get a new wrinkle, some more gray hairs. A mole appears on your back shoulder. Where did that come from? Is that cancer? Hopefully not. Where's that mole come from? Father Time. It's just beating you down. The wall is coming for you. And your personality, which is non-existent, means it's not going to save you. So what you have to do with Father Time beating down your adequateness, you need to seize the day. Carpe diem. What you need to do, darling, is you need to go inside of your sniz, pull out your IUD, throw it down the sewer, find a guy, a charitable guy, the hottest guy you can find that you want to reproduce with, and you gotta trap him. You gotta fuck him. You gotta tell him you're on birth control, you're on IUD or whatever it is you're on, that you're not on. Wrap your legs around him, trap him, get his seed inside of you, and trap him into being a father of your baby, into a family life of marriage and kids and all that jazz. Because if you don't trap a guy now, there's going to come a day when you hit that wall and there's going to be no guys to trap. So you got to seize the day, carpe diem, take out your birth control, stop taking the pill, whatever it is you're doing for that, and get pregnant ASAP, as soon as possible, with the hottest guy you can get your legs around. That's it. Because if you don't do that, it's going to be a lonely life. Once that adequateness, fuckableness of you is gone. Because each day, it's fading just a smidge bit. Today, you're fuckable. Tomorrow, you're fuckable. Friday, I guess I'll fuck. And then by next Monday, the guy's got to have 3 drinks to fuck you. And then within 3 weeks, hey, can we not be seen in public? You know the deal. Trap a guy, get pregnant. It's the only way. It's the only way you're going to have happiness the rest of your life. Go suck a fat one.